Alrighty.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Coffee with the Masons.
Wow.
We're the Masons and we have coffee.
Da-da-da. Are you feeling better?
I am feeling a little better.
And what was the point I forgot to mention on my own video?
Oh yeah. My beloved spousal support unit. This one. She mentioned about complacency and her forgetting to remind me of my
Check in with you.
remind me, potato, about my meeting on Sunday. But what she failed to mention was
He did go.
I went anyway.
He mentioned it. That's actually not the first Sunday that I had. It had completely skipped my mind. That was not the first Sunday that it had completely
I'm just, not
skipped my mind.
not
Slipped
tooting
my
my
mind.
own horn or anything, but toot. Okay, so today we're going to talk about.
He made it to the meeting. That was one of several he had gone to, where I had just forgotten.
Okay, so we're going to stay on recovery topics today.
Blah.
Today is day number 85.
85.
Well, yesterday was day number 85. It'll be 86 at the end of today. 86. I think. I could be wrong. It's either 85 or 86. One of those two. It's in the mid-80s. Unlike the temperature, which is right now.
Really nice.
Yeah, we're about 64 right now.
I have a sweatshirt on. I love
Loving it. I feel better, so tomorrow I'm going to get out in the yard and work.
Cat dog had another fight. Was it today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
Stupid. You're an idiot. The idiot cat here who...
Has no front claws.
Has no front claws. He can barely walk.
He's 88 years old.
He's 88 years old, cranky, and he's still picking fights with a cat half his age and losing. And keeps going back for more like he's got a point to prove. Is he your spirit animal?
I mean, seems to me like the point he's proving is he can take a whooping. He comes in, he's got gaps in his furs, the fur balls hanging all over him where the other cat just took it out on him. It's quite comical. I see the other cat.
He's trying to get an abscess, and I cannot afford vet bills right now for any abscess he creates because he doesn't like the other cat. They just got to learn to get along or leave each other alone.
But see, the funny thing is they get at each other's throats, and then 20 minutes later you see them laying right beside each other.
We're talking about you.
I don't know. Maybe it's like a younger him. He was just trying to beat the demons out of him before he gets that old. I don't know.
So, honey, what's today's topic?
Today's topic is relapse justification. And another word for justification is excuse. If you try to justify your relapse, then first off, let me tell you the difference between relapse and lapse. Lapse is temporary. You decide to go use, and you just do it is what it is. Relapse is only possible if you're in recovery. If you're not in recovery, then you don't relapse. But if you are in recovery and you relapse, you try to justify it with these ridiculous excuses, which some of the ones I may have used a time or two in my day.
I can only imagine.
So let's see. Step one: do you try to blame it on someone else? Say, no friend called. We decided to get together. I had friends come for dinner. They brought me wine or whatever substance. I was in a bar. Someone offered me a beer. What the heck were you doing in a bar? Really? If you're in a bar, you're already on the road to relapse. Mm-hmm. And then there was another blank for other excuses, and say like your buddy calls and said, "Come on, I'm coming to pick you up. I'm buying." Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I ever did.
Did you do that?
I wrote it in the blank. No. Yeah. Okay, then you have catastrophic events that cause you to justify a relapse.
So as a coping mechanism.
As a coping mechanism. Yeah, good word. For
For
example, my wife left me. My spouse left me. There's no reason to stay clean. Really. I just got injured. It's ruined all of my plans. I may as well use. It's not the dumbest I've heard, but it's in the top 4. Yeah, they get better. I promise. I just lost my job. Why not use? I'll tell you why not. You're going to spend money you don't have coming in on a substance. You're not going to have the gas to make it to your next interview. You're going to be late if you do have the gas to make it to your next interview.
You'll fail
And
your
you're going to
next
fail your drug test.
See.
4 reasons right there.
See.
There was a death in the family. I can't get through this without using. Let me explain this one to you, because I actually use this one. More often than not, we use substances, drugs or alcohol, to numb the pain or to cover up the pain, to mask it. If you do this over a period of years, and then one day you decide that you're going to clean up your life and you go into recovery, there's a high percentage of people in recovery for the very first time that fail the first time, because once you stop suppressing all these emotions, they hit you all at once. And it's a lot easier to stay clean and work through the mourning process of someone dying than it is to get high for 10 years and have that 10 years worth of grief and pain hit you all at one time.
That's actually pretty deep.
And that's why you don't suppress. Mourning is a natural way to cope with a loved one dying.
Grieving.
Grieving. Mourning, grieving, same thing. If you want to learn how to get through the grieving process, if that loved one is someone that was close enough to you that you are willing to put yourself at risk by going and using to cover up that pain, in my opinion, you've probably discussed with that loved one what kind of person they would like you to be, you would like you to be. Be that person. That's how you deal with the grieving. If you become that person that you discussed with the person that you've lost, you don't have to go get high. Just saying. Okay, maybe you use for a specific purpose. I'm gaining weight. Need stimulants to control my weight. I just use Little Debbie. Anyway, I'm out of energy. I'll function better if I use.
Have you been talking to Little Debbie?
I mean, there was that one time back in Nam.
Oh. I made him break up with Little Debbie when we first got together.
Oh, I miss her. Here was one that I actually, this is when I determined that I was an addict, was for this very reason here. But it was alcohol, not drugs. I need drugs to meet people more easily. When I was in high school, I got drunk the first time when I was 15 years old, and I was always shy. Could never talk to girls, anything. That night I got drunk, I opened up to everybody. And that's when I realized, when I started writing my book, that I'm on chapter 52 now, by the way. 52. Finally got past my writer's block. But I was using a substance, justifying using a substance to meet people. That wasn't right. Or here's one, I can't enjoy sex without using. I found this very interesting in our class that I do a group study every week. There were a group of 6 scientists somewhere who got a grant from the government of this wonderful country that I love so much to do a sex study involving people on drugs. So they went and got a government grant in order to give people drugs and monitor the sex.
The sex.
Who was the guy that pitched this to the government? I want him selling my product if I ever open up a business. Just saying. Yeah, that's how ridiculous some of these really are. But these are actually justification excuses people have actually used. Okay. Depression, anger, loneliness, or fear. I'm depressed. What difference does it make if I use? Well, you're going to be more depressed if you use. You're not going to realize you're depressed until you start to come down, and then you're going to be even more depressed. When I get mad enough, I can't control what I do. Then don't get mad. What are you getting mad at? You're going to get mad at yourself when you come down and you realize that you spent money, did something you shouldn't have done, said something you shouldn't have said, met someone you shouldn't have met, went somewhere you shouldn't have went, and possibly even end up with handcuffs. What's the point? I'm scared. I know if I use, the feeling will go away. Horse crap. It never goes away. You simply hide it. It's right there, and as soon as you're not able to hide it anymore, it's going to jump out and it's going to have friends with it. My partner thinks I've used, I might as well use.
Oh, you used to say that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
see how she's looking at me? See how she's looking at me right
You
now?
think that? I'm gonna go do
That's
it anyways.
the ridiculous mindset that addicts have.
You're upsetting the cat.
I may be upsetting the cat, but he needs to hear this. And it's just stuff like that. I mean, what you need to learn
Better coping mechanisms.
better coping mechanisms, yes, but you need to have better recognition of your triggers. Because what it is, you have a trigger, and then we're going to come down the scale like this. Up here's the trigger. Then you have thinking, right in here somewhere. Thinking leads to behavior, right in here somewhere. And behaviors, yeah, whoever you're around is going to recognize the behaviors a lot faster than you do, but you can still recognize them if you're true to yourself and you do an honest moral inventory daily. Once you get to the behaviors, your next step is relapse. See, relapse is a process. It doesn't just you don't just wake up one day and say, all right, I'm relapsing. It is a process. So, I wrote this just because I had a few extra minutes, and I like it, but maybe someone else will. Why do we end up tangled up in the messes that we get ourselves into? If I try and erase the very thought that's dragging me down with a substance, no matter what the substance, I'm only temporarily masking the issue. My decision making is paramount to where I eventually arrive. Many different scenarios could possibly come to light, but essentially there are only two decisions that can be made, right or wrong. And that's it.
That's good.
So, if I'm honest about everything in my life, my sobriety date won't change. Right now I've got 85 days clean. And if I'm honest, daily, searching moral inventory daily, and I'm honest about it, we'll just keep adding numbers to that. So
today we are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Today we had a part of his making amends was reaching out to someone of his acquaintance and making an apology. And that led into some serious discussion, which actually led him to kind of default to not a very good behavior, not a helpful behavior, and then also me to default back to an unhelpful behavior. We don't need to talk about what the issue was, but suffice it to say, he brought up something that merited a lot of discussion, and I was just getting the ball rolling, and he effectively said, "We're done talking about it." Shut me down, which is something he has not done. To your credit, you haven't shut me down in 84 days. 84 days going without shutting me down. So that was brand new, old behavior of shutting me down. And then as the conversation progressed and he was good to listen to my concerns or what I had to say, I started slipping back into micromanagement. No, I was headed in that direction. Like, that was my default for how we've dealt with things before. I just thought that was good to notice. Was you shut me down, and I started shutting you down with micromanagement. Mm-hmm. And I think recognizing those behaviors aren't helpful at this point. And
I think they are helpful, actually. Recognizing the old behaviors.
Right. Yeah.
Recognizing them, calling you out on them, and discussing them, and getting past it. Something that could have essentially led to a relapse. We put the brakes on.
Well, just recognizing from a marital standpoint, because this is marriage and addiction, marriage and recovery. It's the marriage part. Was recognizing a behavior on his part and a behavior on mine that wasn't helpful. That we had gotten 84 days, pretty much 84 days without. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait a minute. And it wasn't, and me not just pointing out his issues, but also my own. Because I think micromanaging, you don't need that.
You don't need to be kept quiet either.
And you step back and you listen. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Woo-hoo, we win.
There's a discussion on relapse identification, relapse justification behaviors, and some of our marital behaviors that we're recognizing that weren't helpful in the past, that we are going, let's just not do that. Are you
So,
taking me out for dinner?
sure. So to summarize, you can justify using any reason whatsoever. The sun's out. Oh, let's use. It's raining. Oh, let's use.
I just summarized.
Look, there's a golf ball. Let's use. Work on that. And just start turning that stinking thinking into good thinking.
Did you? So you had a Bible verse.
Yes. One of the things we try to do daily is read the Bible, and I'm trying to get into where I'm not only reading it but studying it, and this is part of explains why I want to. This Bible verse is 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse number 15. It says, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman who needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." So, yeah. Once again, we're going to wrap this up. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button.
All one of you?
Yeah, maybe two. If you like the video, hit like, leave a comment. If you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down. We'll try and do better next time.
You should give $1 to the first person that comments.
We also we take suggestions. So anything you want to suggest that might make it a little more appealing, go ahead, drop us a line. We'll listen. That's one thing we're working on, listening. And I hope you all have a great day. God bless you, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Cheers.